Hello again, and welcome to part 2 of Latina Conference 2022. Before we begin our next segment, just a reminder that we have already posted part 1 of the conference on our website, HispanicLifestyle.com. Today, we focus on connecting you with Hispanic Lifestyles, Latinas of Influence honorees. These women are located throughout the United States, and we truly appreciate the time they took to share their story with you. Since we began our annual listing, we have highlighted 280 Latinas of influence, and today we add more names to our listing. This special edition of Hispanic Lifestyles Latina Conference 2022 would not be possible without the underwriting support of Wells Fargo Bank, Credit.org, Energy Upgrade California, Small Business Development Corporation of Orange County, Southern California Gas Company, and Union Bank. Representing Union Bank is their Managing Director, Corporate Communications, and 2022 Latina of Influence, Ms. Diana Rodriguez.
Diana or Miss Rodriguez, I've known you for a while, so is it okay if I call you Diana?
Richard, we have known each other for a very long time. I would hope you would only call me Diana.
Well, I'm trying to be formal. This is part of our Latina conference, and you do have a very good title. But before we get into all this, will you share with everybody a little bit of your professional background?
Sure. So my name is Diana Rodriguez. I am the head of corporate communications for Union Bank, and I also lead communications for MUFG in Latin America, as well as corporate social responsibility for the Americas for MUFG. So my career has included over 25 years professionally in corporate communications, really with a focus on media relations, internal communications, social media, and content marketing.
Throughout your career, like I was reading in your bio, you were an East Coast gal that decided to settle in the West Coast. Why the big change, and how's it worked out for you?
Yeah, so life is nothing but an adventurous journey when you let it be. And I've been really fortunate to have had a combination of both personal and professional opportunities that have allowed me to live all over the country. I went to high school and undergrad in Connecticut, spent a great deal of my professional career on the East Coast, in Virginia, in the Washington, D.C. area. Also in the Midwest, I went to graduate school, later moved there again for professional reasons. And then eventually, 11 years ago, we ended up in the LA area, right outside of Pasadena, again, for professional opportunity. And it's home now. I can't imagine really wanting to go anywhere else. LA is it.
But in your field, as somebody that gets pitch story ideas to, tell me about the communications business. I mean, just a little bit about it and how really it's changed as an industry and how it's honestly affected your life.
So the communications profession continues to evolve and has evolved greatly in the 25 years that I've been in it. I really started off with a focus on media relations. So working really closely with journalists like yourself, Richard, really wanting to build those relationships, create opportunities to share vital, current information that's interesting, informative, educational for readership and viewership across different audience types. And then over the years, I very purposely curated my career so that I could develop a deep skill set in internal communications, as well as social media, content marketing, and brand management, so that ultimately, I really view myself as an all-around athlete when it comes to corporate communications overall. So when I'm working with talented journalists like yourself, I really focus on what is it that your listenership or your viewership or your readership are interested in learning about. What kind of information can we share that is authentic about the company, that positions executives in the right way and allows the right flow of information to move back and forth, but all based in truth and fact, because bottom line, that is the currency that we all need to operate in.
Well, speaking of currency, I mean, you happen to be working for an institution that is involved in currency, and your message needs to be truthful.
Absolutely. So the currency of trust is all built on integrity. So you asked earlier, Richard, about how I've built my career in communications. It's all in that foundation of integrity, whether it's working with reporters and journalists internally with our audiences across our company or externally with community groups. It's all rooted in that sense of understanding and being able to respond to the needs of what's timely and current. Where the world was 20 plus years ago is vitally different than what it is today. I mean, look at the last 2 years alone with what has happened with the pandemic. So, and other social injustice movements as well. It has required that companies begin to engage and respond completely differently from what they used to. And that's been really exciting as a professional communicator, is being able to work with leaders inside the company to be able to help them be even better versions of themselves as we respond to a highly fluid environment.
Well, speaking of individuals that work within a company, we were talking off camera, the fact that you may be one of the highest ranking Latinas in your organization. I mean, you should be applauded for that.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. It's also something that I don't look at as, while it is an achievement, more importantly, it comes with a sense of responsibility to make sure that I create as many avenues and pathways to success for those around me, especially for women, especially for Latinas. So wherever I can open a door, open a window, create introductions, create connections, because the more of us that are sitting at that decision maker table, the better it is for business and the better it is for society.
Which leads me to my next question, and that is, can you talk a little bit about Union Bank and its involvement in the community and all the great programs that they are involved with throughout the year?
Well, thank you. We'd love to talk for hours about all the things that we do at Union Bank, but the couple of things that I would love to share is that, we mentioned lightly the realities of the pandemic and the impacts of the social injustice movement. And one of the programs that we created in response to all of that is our community recovery program, which is a $10 million philanthropic investment that we have made in nonprofits that specifically work on social and racial issues in the footprint that we operate in. So to date, that means we have issued almost 400 grants to nonprofits working in this space, whether it means affordable housing responsiveness, small business responsiveness, really leveling the playing field so that especially our communities of color are able to rise up and compete and be on equal footing for the future success of not only themselves, but for our society as a whole. So that one is particularly meaningful and something I've been able to have a personal hand in helping shape and influence along the way.
Once again, I want to thank you for being involved and supporting our Latina Conference 2022. And before I go, I'd like to give you an opportunity to share your final thoughts with our audience.
Well, thank you for that. So the last parting thought I would leave all of you with is, first of all, thank you for investing in yourselves, investing the time, the energy, and the commitment to being here, being part of this conference, learning, engaging, creating new connections that will help you grow professionally and personally, and will help others along the way. So that's remarkable. Applause to all of you who are investing the time in doing that. And secondly, especially for Latina small business owners, who are the fastest growing small business segment in the United States, please keep pushing forward. There are ample resources out there to help you be successful. We've created a pretty exciting series about women small business owners that you can check out on unionbank.com. So please take a look at that. It's all helpful information, open to anyone at all in the spirit of wanting to see all of you continue to be wildly successful in your pursuits.
We Latinos, we do not need more leaders. We are leaders already. We just need platforms to showcase who we are. We are the astronauts. We are the academics. We are the business leaders. We just need to address the issue of representation and perception. We need more people in senior positions all across. We're 18% of the population, but only 1% in politics. 18% of the population, but only 1% in corporate boards. 18% of the population and less than 2% CEOs of Fortune 500 companies. So we just need more representation, and we need a perception change. We need to be seen. We need to be seen as who we are, as those astronauts, as the academics, so that we can have role models for our children, and so that they can be it as they have seen it. So it is not a lack of leadership. We don't have a lack of leaders. We have an incredible group of upcoming leaders all across that are rising. We just need the platforms. We just need the positions. We just need to actually open the door for each other. So that's why the unification is so important for all of us. I've been working in communities for 25 years, and I know that the access code we get, we share, we open the door for more. That's going to be the fastest upward mobility for our community. We have to unify.
In my role, I travel the country normally, and I educate real estate professionals on affordable lending. I do webinars, I do keynote presentations, and my passion is really to educate home buyers, real estate professionals, basically everybody on the benefits of homeownership. I'm very particular with how I do carry myself. I'm very particular with, certain things about my persona. And I want to make sure that I'm taken very seriously. We as Latinas have to, cut barriers in our industries and in so many career paths that women go through. And, setting yourself apart, being that role model or being that person, that accomplished something, but bring the persona with you. Make sure that you show up the way that you want to be seen. Something important for me as a young girl, I admired my mom, always so elegant, always carrying herself so well. We used to see novelas, as a young Latina girl, and I used to think, can I look like that one day? And, not that I maybe look like, an actriz de novela, but, I definitely want to make sure that, everyone within my community or anywhere where I present myself sees me and, maybe I'm going to impact them, to maybe, take it one step further. We don't want to conform to anything. And it's my style, it's all me, but it's been shaped by so many women in my career. I mean, really, I'll go back to a mentor. I'll go back to my first mentor, and she dressed impeccable. You know, she taught me the nuances of how to carry myself as a woman in a man's industry. And it truly had such an impact on me. And, you know, it starts from a young girl with your mom, and it ends with your boss, or, you know, just a girlfriend who you admire and want to emulate.
The Mexican American Bar Foundation is a tremendous part of, you know, what keeps me going, what energizes me. It's an organization that is there to serve law students of a Latino background and help them achieve their goals by trying to overcome some of the significant financial obstacles that exist for students. Law school is extremely expensive. It's not getting any cheaper. And so we're there through our scholarship program for the students to try to get them to the finish line. They've worked so hard, they've achieved so much, and really a lot of people just need a helping hand really to get to the finish line. And so I really hope that that's what the foundation does. And I get so much happiness and hope from my work with the foundation. The other trustees are so committed to our mission, and it energizes me to be around people who are like-minded and see the future and are excited about the future and want to help these future lawyers get to where they should be, which is, you know, barred members of the California State Bar, deciding for themselves what kind of practice they want to have, what kind of goals they want to set for themselves. And then, of course, meeting the students. Gosh, I am so glad that I went to school 20 years ago, because I've never seen smarter, more thoughtful, more energized, socially conscious people than law students right now. It's really incredible the way that they want to give back. They're already committed and already giving back as law students in many cases, even though they're overcoming tremendous obstacles while they put themselves through law school. So yeah, I feel very strongly about MABIF's mission. I hope to be part of that organization for many years to come.
But I would say that probably the most defined moment in my life happened when I was 12 years old. My mom was deported, and I was left home with two younger sisters, a 10-year-old and an 18-month-old. And we, you know, my mom used to come home at around 6:37, and, you know, dinner was made and we were ready to eat, and then we would, you know, do whatever we did as a family. Well, that day nobody showed up. About 1 or 2 in the morning, we got a call, and it was my mother who had been deported. And basically we were told, well, in the morning, take the baby to the neighbor, like you always do, go to school, come back, do what you're supposed to, pick up your sister and do what you're supposed to do, and I'll be there as soon as I can. Well, it took a few weeks. And by the time my mom came back, I had become a strategic planner. I had understood how many hours I needed to sell to make enough money to pay the rent, electricity, phone, and have enough money to take my sisters to the movies on Sunday. I also had planned out my life up to age 30. I knew the names of the 2 children I was going to have, and I had planned out my whole life. I was so good at it that when I turned 30, I spent the entire day crying because I didn't know what I was going to do for the rest of my life. So to me, what that says is, I know that I have to take a step back and understand what the future looks like to be able to then plan out for the things that are coming. And I always like to have a plan B. And that makes me probably not very spontaneous, but I think that it defines my need to be disciplined about how we work together, how we make a difference? What are the additional skill sets that we need to be able to move through that next step? And I think in healthcare, it makes a difference. I think in business, it makes a difference. But I also think that it helps us see what else could be, and how do we change the future that we have in front of us if we don't like it.
Come on, Mom. It's that time of the year again. Let's get right to it.
On behalf of Hispanic Lifestyle, we are pleased to share with you Hispanic Lifestyle's 2022 Latinas of Influence listing. Government Affairs Manager, Cox Communications, Adriana Galdamez. Business Development Manager, Community Engagement for Mortenson, Alejandra Spray. Managing Director of Corporate Communications, MUFG Union Bank, Diana Rodriguez. Chancellor, San Bernardino Community College District, Diana Z. Rodriguez. Pediatrician, Scientist, Advocate, Dr. Erlinda Ulloa. CEO and Chief Equity Officer, Systemic Educational Equity, Dr. Ivette Dubiel. Commissioner, Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago, Eira Corral Sepúlveda. Founder, Designated Exceptional Services for Independence, Elizabeth Jinzo. Associate Vice President, Government and Community Relations, California State University, Fullerton, Elva Rubalcava. Business Transformation and Quality Leader, Delivery and Services for IDEMIA, Enna Jimenez. Co-founder of OCA Plant-Based Energy Drink, Gabriela Ramirez. Automotive Dealership Owner, Ivette Dominguez. Entrepreneur, plus-size model, Jennifer Barreto-Leyva. Economic Development Director, City of Corona, Jessica Gonzales. Southern California Outreach Manager, National Latino Outreach Manager as Small Business Majority, Latavia Pineda. Navigator, Los Angeles Unified School District, Lucia Rojas. Voice Talent and Actress, Marabina Jaimes. Professional boxer, entrepreneur, author, Maricela Cornejo. Attorney, mother, business owner, philanthropist, Sylvia Luna. Doctor of Dental Surgery candidate, Sylvette Ramos-Díaz. Congratulations to our honorees. Now let's hear from a few of our 2022 Latinas of Influence.
Yes, well, hello, my name is Gabriela Ramirez. I was born and raised in Guatemala City, actually. So I'm a proud Latina from Central America. I have like a really nice family, like mom, dad, and one brother. So we are a pretty happy family together now. I live separate from them. I live in the US. I'm based here in LA. Actually, I moved out here a few years ago. And yes, I've been working 20 plus years around the industry in beverages. And I work for a company now, it's called Believe. So we are a Latin American based company elsewhere. Well, I would like to see Oka being like a global brand. I think we're in the path to there, just to change the category and disrupt the category. A lot of innovation from the brand itself is coming. Other functionalities, not only energy, because we see that there's a lot of opportunity to put out there the best product available for consumers who has different lifestyles. So yeah, a lot of innovation, a lot of footprint expansion in terms of countries. We're about to launch China in 2 months. We already are in 5 countries in Latin America. We're having conversations with 4 countries in Europe. So it's very it's a dream come true. Like actually, I'm living every single day my dream. I would like to get this brand to a $1 billion brand and celebrate with all the team. Like,
I want to congratulate you on behalf of Hispanic Lifestyle as being selected as one of our 2022 Latinas of Influence. And so congratulations, and you have the final word.
Thank you. No, it's a pleasure. I think as a Latina, we have so much to offer. We have the flavors, the food, we have the traditions, the culture. And I think we're making our way in not only in the US, but in the world. So I'm super proud to be representing my culture, my country, my family. So I'm super proud. And I hope we have the opportunity to do more good for the world. And yeah, I hope to be part of it. Thank you so much for having me, Richard.
So hi, my name is Julie Ulloa, and I'm a pediatric infectious diseases physician scientist and a faculty and mentor for the program in medical education for the Latino community at UC Irvine School of Medicine. And I'm also a doctor at Children's Health of Orange County. Yeah, so I think that mentorship is probably one of the most important parts of my job role. And I do work with mentees in every single thing that I do. And I try to involve students and trainees in everything that I do. So I work in the hospital, in the clinics. I have students from, undergrads that are just volunteering and shadowing to medical students, to residents and fellows that I work with and train them. And I spent another around 75% of my time conducting research in the laboratory and in the community. And I also get trainees, a very diverse group of trainees. I encourage them to work with me in these different environments. And I also do teaching at the university around 10% of my time. So as I mentioned, I was raised by my grandmother, and on her 100th birthday, I asked her, I was like, hey, abuela, what is the biggest change that you have seen over the last 100 years? And I really had no clue as to what she was going to say. I didn't know she was going to say, improvements in technology or medicine. And her answer was very simple yet profound. She said, the advancement of women. And I agreed with her. I was like, well, you're absolutely right. The opportunities that I have been afforded now compared to what she had available to her in the 1920s is very different. And, I'm grateful for all the sacrifices and the struggles of the women that have, that have come before me. That being said, I think that there is still a lot of work to be done. So in my profession, Latina physician scientists in academic medicine make up less than 5% of the workforce. And when we look at national statistics, women are still making less than men. And there are fewer women that are promoted to senior positions in comparison to men. So I also want to emphasize that what you do now matters because it paves the way for tomorrow and the next generation. So when you advocate for yourself, you are also serving as a role model and helping other women understand not just how to speak up, but how to effectively use their voice to influence others in and out of the workplace.
My name is Ivette Dominguez. I'm a business owner, entrepreneur, go-getter Latina. Some days I'm a little spicy. I'm in the auto industry. Own 7 dealerships, started selling automobiles in the beginning and worked my way up. I was a general manager for Sonic Automotive a number of years ago. Been in the auto industry for 20 plus years, have owned, started my first dealership or 2005. I was a mother of a young 3-year-old and worked for a corporation. Even though we learned great things by working for Sonic Automotive, knew we wanted to be on our own and have our own business. So took the leap of faith. It was 2005. Gas prices were high. There was a lot of uncertainty in those days. We are first generation automobile dealers, which is not the easiest. So I never really looked at it as a disadvantage being a female in a male dominated environment. I've looked at it as a challenge. And I was always up for that challenge. I would say early on when I told my parents, I went home, told my dad that I was taking a summer job at a dealership. He wasn't as supportive as he could have been. He was, he knew people kind of like you're talking about that were from that really male kind of machismo kind of generation. And he was like very, he wasn't, both, neither of my parents, to be honest with you, were that supportive. And I said, it's a summer job. I'm going to get my MBA at USC. And this is what I want to do for the summer. I had a BMW and I took it in for service. To be honest with you, I think if I would have started at a dealership that had 100 salespeople, I don't know if it would have been, I would have been as successful. I was in a small environment in Southern California, and it was really a challenge. I recently got a call from somebody I worked with in those early days, and he had gone onto my LinkedIn page and he's like, wow, you've been busy for the last 17 years.
How cool is that?
I've been sharing with my employees and my daughters. I have an interview coming up and I'm really, really excited. I like the sound of how it sounds, to be honest with you, the title. So I feel like I'm walking like on cloud 9, being a Latina of influence. I feel that I'm those things, but I didn't know it was an actual title. So thank you. Thank you for the opportunity and thank you for the recognition. I feel very, very honored, and I hope to be a very great woman of influence and Latina of influence. And I will, do my best. So thank you.
Thank you for joining us for Hispanic Lifestyles Latina Conference 2022. Once again, thank you to our event sponsors. Friends, we have several more special events planned for this year, including our 25th anniversary celebration. More information is online at our website, HispanicLifestyle.com. Until next time, goodbye for now.